Hi, and welcome to Psychic Today. I'm your host, Jill Roberts, and it's nice to finally be back. Now, I am doing this recording. I haven't done a podcast in a couple of months. I've not been well, and I'm actually going to be having surgery soon. So I figured before I have the surgery, let me get some thoughts out there. So it's been almost 6 months here of dealing with COVID and the anxieties that go along with that. But in New York, we're doing well, thank God. And wherever you may be, I hope you are well and safe. Today, we're going to talk about a bunch of new crystals that have been newly discovered and some stones that you may not have heard of yet. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back. And we're going to talk about different Bliss Quartz and Primalite and just a bunch of new gems that I guarantee you're going to love. So stay tuned. And welcome back. This is Psychic Today, and I'm Jill Roberts. So let's talk about some new summer news of crystals that have been discovered. So the first of what I'm going to talk about is Bliss Quartz. The stones were discovered by Robert Simmons and his wife Kathy, and they call them Bliss Quartz. They come from the mountains of East Africa. They are a silicon dioxide mineral with a hardness of 7, so they're pretty hard. Somewhat surprisingly, the material comes in two vivid and distinctly different colors. There's a deep red one. It's reddish pink, almost like a dark pink amethyst, if you've seen those. And the other is a beautiful, beautiful green. And both are found in the same mines, which is remarkable. Robert Simmons said that as soon as he first laid eyes on them, that he was intensely attracted to them, and that their bright colors made him think of candy. So he was tempted to call them candy quartz. But he tuned into the stones to ask them what their names should be. And while he was holding one red and one green piece together at his heart chakra, he was surprised by a shift in his mood. He had been calm and he thought, he was rather tired at the end of a long day, but it was his first chance to check them out, so he did. And when he held them, the fatigue of the day just vanished. Sorry, my cat is stepping in front of me, so please bear with if you hear some meowing in the background. So his fatigue vanished and he was suddenly happy and just buoyant. He felt his heart smile, so to speak, and he asked the stones what they should be called. Immediately he heard in his mind Bliss Quartz. Then the beings of the stones presented themselves to his inner visual screen, which is a type of subjective clairvoyance, in front of his third eye. He saw two jovial-looking angels, one in a red robe and one in a green robe. They looked at him laughingly, and they called out, "I'm Red Bliss, and I'm Green Bliss." So he couldn't stop himself from laughing and, at the antics of these two beautiful beings. And he decided, all right, he'll go with it. So he stayed with their energies and his chakras and his subtle bodies. And he could feel a warm, comfortable mirth spreading from his heart, permeating throughout his whole body. He felt, his cares had lifted, and he was aware of happiness of simply being. He recognized that the stone beings had given him the perfect name to describe their essential nature. So he meditated with them separately with each of the two colors, hoping to write more specific information. Now, I have both red and green Bliss Quartz myself, and I can tell you, if we talk about red Bliss Quartz first, I will give you my experiences with the stones, but first let me just tell you about each one. Red Bliss is a stone of passionate intensity. It lights up the emotional body with pure vitality. It reminds the soul of its purpose in the world, and it stimulates the redoubling of one's efforts to discover and enact one's highest destiny. When you hold it at your heart chakra, it brings a fountain of life force energy into your subtle body, stimulating and awakening your wholeness. This creates inner conditions that foster enthusiastic participation in one's day to day life, with a focus on making your life a constant expression of one's true and authentic self. And so, Red Bliss Stone Quartz is just purely a stone of happiness. It's also a stone of creativity for me. It facilitates healing the emotional body, and it aids in dissolving attachments to old traumas, which is very, very helpful in this time that we're living in. It carries a vibration of just joy, and it can fill you with exuberance and replaces patterns of discouragement or depression. In a time of stress and setbacks, Red Bliss enhances your reserves of courage and determination, and it just gets you to move forward, and you do it one step at a time. For myself, it's with this illness, and I'm finally getting to the end of it since March, and there are times that I felt like giving up, and working with this stone is giving me not only the energy but the determination to get to the point I need to be at to have this surgery. For most people, it's a surgery that is simple. For me, it's not, due to my circumstances. But, there's a wellspring of vitality offered through Red Bliss. It increases your energy resources of the physical self through its infusion into the subtle body. These stones help to overcome fatigue, and they are recommended when one is recovering from illness. So these stones offer energetic support to the immune system, the heart, the lungs, the metabolic process. Red Bliss works most powerfully when it is combined with Green Bliss. It also harmonizes well, of course, with Moldavite, Phenakite, and all forms of azestulite. Now, Moldavite, Phenakite, and azestulites are expensive, but you get a small piece, that's all you need. It's not the size of the stone, it is the stone. These stones co-create with us, and we're not just taking from them. We are exchanging with them. So you have to remember that. When you go to pick out stones, if you go to a little crystal shop, or if you're looking online, something reaches out to you, something that pulls you towards it, then when you get it, if you order it or if you buy it, when you get it, take the time with it. See what it tells you. See what it's offering you and what you can offer it. Because there are stone beings. These are not just, dead rocks. These have all things are encompassed and ensouled. So you have to, if you don't look at them that way, they are not going to work for you. And as a spiritual crystal healer, I'm telling you, it's amazing at what these stones can do. I've used them on myself. I've actually gotten better results from the doctors where there could have been a lot more problems in a lot of different other organs that I had previously, that when working with stones and layouts and grids have truly helped me heal my physical body, let alone emotionally, let alone meditation wise, let alone soul journey wise. There's so much that they offer you. It is just an amazing, alchemical and amalgamation of a process that you go through when you truly are open to working with these beautiful creatures. So that is Red Bliss Quartz. Let's now talk about Green Bliss Quartz. I love this one too. So Green Bliss is a stone of comfort and relaxation. So the other one was vitality and energy. This one is comfort and relaxation. It can encourage contentment. It offers smooth and pleasant vibrations of peace, tranquility, and optimism. It's a stone of resilience, health, strength, and well being. It reminds us to make clear statements and actions of our highest intentions and then let go and allow the flow of the world's wisdom to co create the outcome with us. We have to realize we cannot control everything. Okay? So the more you try to control, the more out of control you are, in a sense. And I don't mean out of control unhinged. I mean out of control of the situation. You cannot control everything around you. So you let it go, and the flow of the world's wisdom can co-create the outcome with you. Green Bliss is a stone of abundance and prosperity, helping you to attain financial success without compromising your integrity. This is very important, especially now when we're all working from home and trying to get by. You don't want to compromise your integrity. You don't want to be desperate, because that is never a good place to come from. You want to come from the heart. You want to come from being genuine. You want to come from empathy. Okay? It helps you to notice beneficial opportunities and to seize the moment appropriate, that in a clear and ethical way you can move forward. Green Bliss Quartz soothes and heals the emotional body. It acts to cool inflamed feelings and release stress, almost kind of like lithium quartz. It refreshes one's mood and helps one to approach each day as a new beginning. These are excellent stones to hold or carry during the workday and to sit with for a few minutes after one comes home, allowing any unpleasant attachments to fall away. Any of the BS, any of the craziness you've gone through the day, take 5 minutes for yourself, sit in a chair, hold it, and just breathe in slowly, hold it, breathe out slowly, just sit there for 5 minutes, clear your mind, and then definitely cleanse the stone, because you're carrying the stone around with you. You have a crazy day, you want to get rid of the craziness out of the stone. So any quartz can be programmed, and these are quartz stones. So they naturally, almost like techites, they will bring in the negativity into the stone itself, away from you. So you want to just take some sage. I tend to use the smoke method to cleanse my stones. I'll take sage or Palo Santo, and I will just, put the stone above it and make sure all sides of the stones are in the smoke, and I say, please release any negative energy entities or negative entities attached to the stone. And please keep the intended programming, because you want to program the quartz. So once you get quartz, no matter what it looks like, you just want to spend time with it. You want to program it and say, all right, I'm going to do this, and you're going to help me do this, and together we're going to do X, Y, and Z. So Green Bliss is most powerful when it is combined with Red Bliss Quartz. It harmonizes well with Moldavite, Phenakite, all forms of Azestulite, but I like to put it with certain other quartzes and certain other, stones. One of my favorites, if I've had a really trying day, and they've been a lot lately, is lithium quartz. Lithium quartz and green quartz, green bliss and red bliss together are an amazing experience, because it just melts. You get the vitality and the energy, but from the red, but the red also helps you to physically move on. So if you're disgusted or you're just drained from your day, and you have a lot going on, you need the red bliss to help you physically. The green bliss will help, and the lithium quartz will help melt away that stress. And it won't take away problems, of course. It'll help. The green will help you see through the problem and help you keep your dignity and your integrity. And the lithium will just soothe away all of the crazy BS that you've been dealing with. And they actually make lithium for people with anxiety, mood disorders, and bipolar disorder from these stones. So this is the actual pure form of lithium without having to ingest it into your body. So you get the benefits of the relaxation and the mood change without having to take a synthetic form of it um, into your body. So stay tuned, and I'm going to be back with a couple more stones that you're just going to love. Hi, this is Jill Roberts from the show Psychic Today, and I want to talk about Anchor. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. Number one, it's free. Number two, there's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Number three, Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and so many other different apps and platforms. You can make money from your podcast, and this is a biggie, with no minimum listenership. With so many other podcast creators out there that I've tried, I would only use Anchor. I mean, there's no fee. It's completely free, and everything is at your fingertips. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So now download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Again, that's Anchor, ANCHOR.FM, or download the Anchor app. And I can't wait to hear your podcast. Welcome back to Psychic Today. I'm your host, Jill Roberts. And for pictures of the stones that I'm talking about today, they will be on the podcast website, Psychic Today with JillRoberts.com. That's the name of the show, Psychic Today with JillRoberts.com. Okay, so the next stone I'm excited to talk about is called Primalite. And this is from a single small location in Russia. It's a newly discovered stone. It's a unique combination of very high quality clear quartz with a natural overgrowth of sparkling microcrystals of seraphinite. I love seraphinite. The smallest pieces of Primalite contain single double terminated quartz crystals, and they kind of resemble Herkimer diamonds underneath. Other pieces come in a variety of weird-looking shapes. Most of these are small quartz clusters with overgrowth of seraphinite microcrystals. And the energy of these unique formations are remarkable, as their appearance is just as so. The quartz composition of Primalite estimates very high, pure vibrational energy. The seraphinite component is a strong, as well as offering much nourishment to the subtle body. The energies of this stone enters your body's energy field, and it begins working to once dislodge stuck energies and get the interior flow moving again. The currents of these stones can enter the body at any point, so you don't have to put them in a specific chakra, a specific energy center. You can put them anywhere. And they begin to start working immediately. They're especially resonant with, of course, the third eye and the heart chakra. The powerful energies of Primalite go everywhere within your subtle body field, and they last for some time, even after the stone is put down. So it's named after prima materia, which is first matter of ancient alchemy. In alchemical lore, the prima materia was necessary to begin the work of transformation. It was highly esteemed by the alchemists, though they asserted that the uninitiated would not recognize its value. Primalite is most definitely a stone of transformation. It energizes your whole subtle body. It draws your attention to the reality of the subtle body. It allows you to feel one's interior energies just as vividly as you would feel physical sensations. When this occurs, the first experience is one of purification. Primalite's currents circulate through one's chakras, meridians, and all of the liquid crystal body matrix. Any negative attachments or toxic debris in one's field are immediately stirred up by the currents of Primalite. They are soon flushed out, although one can certainly feel them as they are getting cleaned out. These are especially good stones to use for fertility treatments, crystal fertility treatments, and grids and layouts. So you would definitely want, if you're doing fertility treatments homeopathically and using crystals, this would be the stone you would lay at the bottom by your feet, pointing outward to flush any negativity out of the body. So you get all of that toxic debris out and flushed out. And then once they are soon flushed out, you can certainly feel as they're getting cleaned out of your body. This activation of the subtle body is absolutely necessary for the awakening of the light body and the ultimate goal of vibrational ascension. So when I first meditated with the piece of Primalite, I was really not prepared for how intensely it would stir up energies of my subtle body. Another surprise is that it triggered an out-of-body experience. You know, I sat there with my eyes closed, holding it in my hand, and I suddenly found myself viewing the room next door. And then I began seeing various other rooms in my apartment without opening my eyes or leaving my chair. And this is, you know, I do objective clairvoyance, but this initiated it right away. It was not something that I had to meditate with and work on. Objective clairvoyance is when, you know, can see with you can see things with your eyes open. So this is like that, but with your eyes closed. So it is a type of objective clairvoyance that people use in advanced mediumship. But it's the stone itself that kind of awakens this in your sixth energy center, your third eye, and your crown chakras. So it's really amazing. So when I did my whole, you know, talking to the stone, I asked about, you know, how is this happening? And, you know, I was shown that it's a very strong stone of interdimensional travel as well as astral journeying. The healing influence of Primalite comes from its purification and activation of the subtle body. So its currents seek out any polluted or imbalanced areas. It immediately sets to work on cleaning and cleansing them out. After a number of sessions, this work is completed, and one's purified subtle body field emanates a strong and positive influence on one's physical embodiment. So work with this a few times, get your subtle body cleared out, and you will see a remarkable difference with your physical body. It's one of the most powerful stones I've encountered in a long time, because I work with stones in every area of my life, whether it is my spiritual business, whether it is dealing with my everyday routine, whether it is dealing with my health, whether it is dealing with relationships with my children or whomever. It is something that it is part of me, it is part of who I am, and it is part of my everyday life. So for me to say, whoa, you got to get this stone, you got to get this stone. You can get it from one place, and it's not expensive, and that's heavenandearthjewelry.com. I would definitely recommend getting the stone, especially if you want to cleanse all the yuck out and, you know, vibrationally ascend and, be able to astral travel, to be able to journey to other places, see other things. It's a really fun stone to work with after um, you've gotten all the gunk out. It's really amazing. Its energies permeate your being in so many profound ways, and they stay with you. It's not something that you have to carry with you all the time, and or even have it holding it to meditate, or putting it on your third eye when you meditate. Or I tend to like to meditate laying down unless I'm introducing myself to the stone for the first time. Then I like to sit up, but I like to meditate laying down, especially using shaman stones. But this is my new go-to stone. My shaman stones are the ones to go to for years. And I love all these estrolites. I know I still have to finish all these estrolites, but all of these new stones came in and I got them, and I haven't had a chance to even talk to you guys about it. And I'm so sorry about that. It's been since June since I've done a podcast. And if I wasn't feeling so ill and not, I mean, I couldn't even talk. It hurt to breathe at certain points. So I wasn't able to do this. So that's why I'm just full of excitement, because these are things that I want to share with you. And these are things that are going to help you with channeling, or they're going to help you with mediumship. They're going to help you just become a better person, period, to be your best self. Not better than you are now, just to be your true self. And that includes red bliss and green bliss and this Primalite and the other stones we're going to be talking about. I can sense that Primalite can trigger experiences of Kundalini activation, sudden samadhi, and or light body activation. Primalite has a natural affinity with Moldavite, azazeophenakite, and all varieties of zestolite. If you need to feel grounded, or even if the intensity of Primalite makes one long to be soothed, I recommend holding Rose Sophia stone at your heart chakra, or Dravite, which is brown tourmaline, is a good stone to hold with it if you're too heady from it. And I've said this before, Moldavite does nothing for me, and I have huge pieces of Moldavite, and I have them from a source in the Czech Republic that is a miner. So I've gotten it from very reputable people and places, and it does nothing for me as far as, giving you that spacey feeling. I do like working with Moldavite, but it doesn't give me the feeling that everybody talks about. And I am very sensitive to stones. So I was a little disappointed when Moldavite was just like, I get more out of my shaman stones. I guess those are just my go-to stones. However, I definitely recommend, using Rose Sophia as a grounding stone. Connects you to Sophia, which is earth, and so is a Dravite. So if you feel a little too heady from the Primalite, then definitely use a grounding stone that's brown, a stone that's black. Obsidian's good too. You want a stone that's going to keep you grounded. But try it and see how you feel. Do it laying down. Hold it in your hands. You don't have to hold it at your third eye or put it on your crown chakra. And again, for fertility treatments, I would put it between your ankles on a layout. I am going to, once I have the surgery and I'm feeling a bit better, I am going to do a whole episode on crystals for fertility treatments, because I know it's a huge subject that has not been gone over on this show, and it needs to be done. And how to clear up blockages in general, and just a whole bunch of other stuff I have in store. How to make your own mandala with your own stones, whether it's your power stone, your healing stone, your protecting stone. You make this whole circle with stones that have to go along with your astrological sign. I mean, we're going to have so much fun coming up, and I'm so looking forward to it. So anyway, that is Primalite. Now, the next stone I'm going to talk about, I have 3 more stones. So I'm going to do another one, which isn't as long, and then I have 2 more that we'll do after the break. But so the next stone, which is another new stone, is Amaranthine. Now, long ago, poets conceived of a flower that did not fade and christened it Amaranth. The name is rooted in the Greek words amaranthos, meaning immortal or unfading, and anthos, meaning flower. The word amaranthine emerged as an adjective of the imaginary flower and subsequently of anything possessing its underlying undying quality. Eternally beautiful and unfading, everlasting. In modern English, the word amaranthine also designates the color purple or reddish violet. So during a buying trip in February of 2020, the Simmonses came upon a remarkable stone that they have named Amaranthine. And they did this because it exhibits beautiful hues of purple violet mixed with stunning white patterns and streaks of gold and tan. Chemically, it's a mixture of minerals consisting primarily of quartz and fluorite. And this is more than simply a beautiful new stone. It emanates energies that are profoundly powerful and positive. Amaranthine is, on all levels, an embodiment of its name. The rich patterns of purple, white, and tan would be at home on an immortal celestial flower. And in fact, because amaranthine is a stone, it is, in a sense, an undying flower of the earth, because it's a stone. Its vibrational currents are sweet, powerful, and purifying, and they bring one's awareness to a higher spiritual octave. So this is another high vibrational stone. It's amazing to work with or put under your pillow before you go to sleep at night if you want to astral travel in your dreams. It's one of those stones that it's not as, let's say, it has a different feeling than Primalite, whereas Primalite is very kind of blunt, gets in there, gets rid of the gunk, does what it got to do, and it's gonna, excel you. This stone does it a little bit more gently. It does it a little bit differently, and it takes you to a little bit of a different place. So it's just each stone has its own vibration, just like we have our own vibrations. And amaranthine is just a beautiful and celestial type of stone. I mean, I can't put it any other way than I just have. Its vibrational currents, I said, are sweet and powerful. When I held a piece of it, a deep wave of peace and tranquility washed through me. The energy was uplifting. Rather than slowing down my vibrations, it elevated them. I felt a simultaneous sense of stillness and elation at the same time. It took me to an almost ecstatic level of consciousness, within which there was a complete inner silence. It was almost like 0 point. And to get to a point of complete inner silence is so gratifying and just such an amazing experience. The silence is kind of a reverence that descended on me as I went more and more deeply into the vibrational world of amaranthine. These are intensely spiritual stones. They can usher one into that consciousness quickly, as well as Primalite can, but again, not as a blunt kind of way. It kind of lifts you up, as opposed to, laser jet you there. Amaranthine is an ideal stone for meditation and spiritual development. Because it resonates to very high levels of awareness, it can aid you in quieting your thoughts and moving into rapport with your higher self. This movement is accompanied by a feeling of inner expansion. You feel yourself expanding out. It allows you to let go of all worldly concerns and move into the light. Wearing amaranthine can assist you in staying in touch with one's higher awareness as you go throughout your everyday life. You can get one put on a leather string and a leather necklace and wear it throughout your day. It's a stone of purification and spiritual protection. It dispels confusion and enhances clarity of mind. It clears and opens the meridian system and all the chakras. It strongly energizes the heart chakra, and its currents flow out from the heart to all parts of the body. Amaranthine cleanses the subtle body and meridian system of all negative or disharmonious energies, supporting good health and longevity. It raises one's vibrational level to a very high frequency that resonates with the angelic realm. It to helps one's deep self to emerge at the imperishable core of one's identity. This is a sacred stone, and it's a sacred stone of profound love and inner power. In spiritual healing, Amaranthine supports the heart, brain, and neurological systems. It can bring catharsis and renewal to the emotional body as it dispels toxic patterns and brings its flood of peace and light. Spiritually, it stimulates the expansion of consciousness. It is a powerful stone of ascension. I highly recommend Amaranthine to all of those on a spiritual path. These are some of the stones that when I talk about dispelling negative entities, people who have attachments, when I do crystal grids, I have very expensive. Now, Amaranthine is not that a big of an expensive stone, but it is when I need to use 12 of them for a crystal grid. If you're talking $60 per stone, and you know me, I'd rather raw than tumbled, and usually raw is a little bit cheaper, oddly enough anyway. Or I'm talking about using azestulites. This is why some of my grids can be expensive. And I utilize these types of stones in flushing out negative entities or energies or attachments that were within the body that people have been coming to me for. So, as well as other methods of getting rid of entities, I utilize stones in sacred geometric patterns to do what needs to be done as well. So they're kind of like a boost. They're there to support me, to support you in a specific set of circumstances like that. But I'm not saying that's what this stone is just for. This stone is for definitely vibrational ascension. If you're on a spiritual path, get one of these stones. Again, you don't have to get a big piece. Get a piece, put it under your pillow, get a piece, meditate with it, get a piece. You can get a necklace part, from it. And again, this is a stone that is only from the Simmonses, so heavenandearthjewelry.com, because they're the only ones. They've named it, they found it, they've named it, they sell it. So you don't want to go on Etsy, because somebody will buy them from Robert Simmons and then they will sell them to you for a little bit more expensive without shipping. So I suggest go to source. So again, I've given you now 4 stones that you should definitely, take one of them and work with. Primalite, definitely. Amaranthine, definitely, depending on what's going on in your life. If you're at the point where you're ready to spiritually evolve or heighten your vibration, then use these 2 stones. If you're at a point where you're going through a lot of stuff, then I would do the Bliss Quartzes. I would get one of each and work with them. It all depends on your set of circumstances. And whenever you're listening to this, just know that this is meant for you at the time that you are listening, not on the date that I'm recording it. So please don't, think just because I recorded this on, August 6th, that it's only valid then. Whether it's a tarot reading I'm doing, or an oracle reading, or I'm talking about stones. These stones are meant for you now. So if you're hearing about them, get one, because this is another way the universe is reaching out to you. Okay? And if you ever have any questions, please, you can, underneath wherever you're listening to this, whether it be on a desktop, an app, on my YouTube channel, there's a place for you to record a voicemail. And you can ask me anything you want. And you let me know if I can include your question in the next show. And I will answer it to the best of my ability. Okay, so hold on. I'll be back with the last two, which are, I'm not going to tell you. It's a surprise. Welcome back to Psychic Today. I'm your host, Jill Roberts. And now on to the last two. Now, you might have heard of fairy stones, but today I'm going to be talking about fairy eggs. Now, fairy eggs are from the magical wilderness of northern Quebec, Canada, and their enterprising rockhounds have discovered and collected amazing formations that we call fairy stones. These consecrations are characterized by strange and fanciful shapes, and their energies help one to perceive and communicate with the realm of nature spirits, devas, and fairies. Our rockhound friends have come upon deposits of round, saucer-shaped consecrations that emanate currents similar to those of fairy stones. However, their shapes are much more uniform and their energies have some special qualities to their own. They have named these new stones fairy eggs, and we are fortunate to get a good supply of them. So, fairy stones, as the name implies, aid in connecting, communicating, and co creating with nature spirits and beings of the fairy realm. These stones are ideal for harmonizing oneself with the living earth and for entering into a state of mutual blessing with all living things. They facilitate one's ability to see fairy beings, devas, and other beings of the earth's soul life. The newly discovered fairy eggs have similar qualities to fairy stones, and they also seem to offer the opportunity to relate with a specific being in the fairy realm. By this, I mean to say that each fairy egg carries an inner, seed of a nature spirit, deva, or fairy. So each one of these has their own connection to a specific fairy or nature spirit or deva. These names are mere approximations, of course, for the species of these entities. They are all individualized centers of consciousness who are emanations of the living earth. Meditating with the fairy egg offers one the opportunity to meet the earth in one of her friendliest, most accessible expressions. Fairy egg beings are delightful, and they are lovely creatures when one views them in contemplation. They exude a playful and innocent energy that invites one to shrug off one's cynicism and enjoy existence for one's own sake. Fairy eggs support the health of one's subtle body, and they can energize one's auric field if it has been depleted. These stones stimulate visionary experiences of the Earth's subtle body and the entities that inhabit this vibrational realm, which is the closest spiritual dimension to our physical world here. I recommend using these stones in combination with blue-green azestulite, healerite, healer's gold, and heartnite. Um, and of course, any Lemurians, any type of Deva quartz that you may have are wonderful stones to use with these fairy eggs. And each egg has its own personality. It is amazing. And it is just so joyful. I mean, I'm here in the concrete jungle, and when I use them, I feel like I'm sitting in a field somewhere and just looking up at the trees and feel the sun on myself. And I just feel the joy and the playfulness of the entity that's connected to the stone. So if you're looking for a little bit of joy, a little bit of happiness in your daily life, I would definitely meditate with a fairy egg. They are amazing. And again, different from fairy stones in the sense that they do and they give a little bit more. And if you give of yourself and you get rid of the cynical part of yourself and just feel the earth, you will just have an amazing experience. So definitely get a fairy egg if you can. I got 4 because I wanted to feel the difference between all 4. To see if there was a difference, number 1. And number 2, there is. So I have 4 of them. And they're kind of the size of like shaman stones. They're beautiful. I know I have spoken about shaman stones many times, but um, they're fun to definitely meditate with. To do a shamanic journey with fairy eggs are just amazing. The next stone I'm going to talk about, and the last one of this episode, is Wavellite. And Wavellite is a new find. They are by far the finest and most energetically active pieces that have come into existence recently. Wavellite pieces have, um, you know, they excite and they offer you this type of discovery and an opportunity to acquire what your heart desires. It's a phosphorus mineral named after William Wavell, who is an English doctor who discovered it. Um, these are going to be very quickly because I know I've kept you long enough. It's a stone for satisfaction of curiosity, which goes well with fairy eggs. It enhances psychic abilities in an unusual way. It answers inner questions with meaningful synchronicities. So if you wish to know something not within your own ordinary realm of awareness, you can meditate with Wavellite and then look into the events of the coming days for a synchronistic answer. For example, if you want to know whether, let's say, Mr. J or Mrs. K will win the next election, one could meditate on this question. If within the next short span of time one develops, you know, something synchronistically to point you in that direction, then you know that you have your answer. Admittedly, it's a silly kind of example that I'm giving, but the stone's answers are sometimes humorous, but they tend to be uncannily right. I believe this is because Wavellite amplifies prescient vision, but it also carries soothing and um, types. It's a soothing type of psychic um, ability because it's not so immediate, but it can be a little bit something of a trickster because it teaches you how to use it using its own eccentric language, so to speak. It can be an amazing ally. Even if one just plays with the stone out of curiosity, it can be a lot of fun. And ultimately, if your own capacity for psychic awareness and understanding of symbolic meanings in everyday life, it can definitely be enhanced. Wavellite harmonizes with hypercynth, labradorite, pneumite, and phenakite, all of which enhance visionary awareness. It loves to work with moldavite, which has its own trickster nature as well. So, Wavellite is definitely a stone to use if you are developing your psychic senses and would like to, instead of seeing something immediate, have a synchronistic type of experience learning how to use this gift of clairvoyance, claircognizance, clairsentience, or clairaudience. So those are the stones that I'm so happy to share with you today. Hopefully I will be back soon. I would like to do another episode before the surgery. And if I don't, I will talk to you afterward. So be safe, be healthy, take care of one another, be kind to yourself, and be empathetic of what everybody is going through. Again, you can find all of these stones on psychictodaywithjillroberts.com. Again, that's psychictodaywithjillroberts.com. I'm sending you all of my love and light. Take care.